So here is a quick practice for us to read on to find meaning. The first letter is there to help us, but the rest of the word is hidden. We must read on after that word to see if we can give it any meaning. We must remember to read the sentence back to check it makes sense. I will do the first sentence, which I know finishes here because it has a full stop. So, dragonflies have long wings. Now, I know it begins with a because I can see it at the beginning of the word. So I'm going to use the picture to help me too. I can see the long wings in the picture, so now I need to think of a word that could describe them. Fun. Dragonflies have fun long wings. Doesn't really make sense. Feathery. Dragonflies have feathery long wings. Well, I know it can't be feathery because I'm looking at the picture and they do not look very feathery. I'm going to count to see how many wings the dragonfly has. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 4 begins with a sound, so I'm going to read it with that and see if that one would make sense. Dragonflies have 4 long wings. I think that makes sense. In my head, it's all making sense and it's sounding very right. Okay, I'm going to reveal the word and then it's going to be your turn to do the next sentence. Please pause the video now. So I'm now going to reveal the next word on the second sentence, which you have had time to guess and figure out what it might mean. Good luck. So I'm now going to reveal the next word on the second sentence, which you have had time to guess and figure out what it might mean. Good luck. Next, it is the turn for the teacher read aloud. So this is the opportunity that the children get to listen to the teachers, model our reading strategies. So I'm going to model now using my reading strategies to help me. But remember, it's okay if I make a mistake. I just need to try again. Here we go. Sommer. Now already my brain is going, Sommer I know does not sound like a real word. So I'm going to try again. I'm thinking of my reading strategy. So I've tried my phonics. The next thing I could do is think of my sight words. Now that rings a bell in my head. I know it doesn't say sommer, but I know it could say some. Because in my head it rings a bell. It looks like the word some. So I'm going to carry on reading the sentence to see if that makes sense. Some insects crawl or jump. Now this time I was a bit robotic. It was okay for me to sound out my words using my phonics, but now I need to read it back and check it makes sense altogether. Some insects crawl or jump. Thumbs up. I'm going to do my next sentence now. Some insects fly. My brain's not agreeing with that one. Some insects it can't be fly. Now I know the Y sound at the end of that word can sometimes make the E sound, so I'm going to try that. That's an alternative pronunciation. So some insects flee. It could be that word, but I'm not 100% convinced it would be that word in this sentence. I know the sound at the end of that word can also make the I sound, so I'm going to try again. Now, I remember that also because of my phonics activity that I did earlier on in this presentation. So some insects fly. Now, I know the word fly means when something goes up in the air. So some insects fly. That makes sense. I'm going to read my two sentences back all together just to make sure I understand them. Some insects crawl or jump. Some insects fly. So now it's your turn to class read aloud. So remember your reading strategies and please pause the video now. How did you get on? Were there any words you got stuck on? Can you tell your grown-up which strategies you used to help you? So before we move on to the next part of our presentation, it's come to the point now where the children need to make sure they've read the book, they've understood the book before we move on to our comprehension. It's okay for you to pause it now and come back in a couple of days. When we read in school, we read over the course of 2 or 3 days, so that's perfectly normal. It just makes certain that they understand the book and they know what the words are before they move on to answering some questions. So the next stage will be our comprehension. So moving on to our comprehension now, we'll quickly recap our question words with the colours, just like we do with the sight words and the phonics. So I would say, what does the blue word say? What does the yellow word say? Whisper what the green word says. Can you say in a loud voice what the red word says? And in a baby voice, can you do the purple word? So here is an example of one of the question styles we give to children. First of all, we encourage them to read this question. If they need to read it more than once, that's okay. We're focusing on what the question is asking us to do. So it says find and copy one word that means big. So we're placing a huge emphasis on the word one, because that means to the children they only need to write one word, nothing more. So your answer will only need to be one word. Before we start looking in the text, can you think of any other words you know that may mean big? And could you use them in a sentence? This will help you to understand the kind of words that you are looking for. Pause the video now and have a go at that, please. Please pause the video now. So I hope you gave it a good go. Before I start looking at the text, I'm going to read the question one more time. So it says find and copy one word that means big, and it's on page 7. So the first thing I need to do is look for page 7. A common mistake made by the children is that they think of any word in their head and they write it down, but it's important to make sure that they retrieve this information from the text, looking at that page in particular. So I've got page 7 up on my screen. I'm going to give it a read, and I know that I'm looking at the word that means big. So it says, millions of years ago, forests buzzed with insects. Now I'm thinking in my head, none of those words mean big to me. Some of them were enormous. Now I know enormous could be another word for big, but I'm not going to write it down just yet. I'm going to carry on reading just in case. Imagine a dragonfly as big as a duck. Now I can see they've used the word big again there, but it's find and copy one word that means big, so it couldn't be the same word. Now looking at that text, I can read it again if I want to, but I'm pretty sure that the word that means big here is going to be enormous. So I'm going to use that word and I'm going to copy it onto the line. Now I don't need to use my phonics, I don't need to think of the spelling. The spelling is right there for me to use. So that's what I'm going to do next. So all of these questions focus on retrieval, as it is a non-fiction text. So the first and third question is finding a piece of information from the text. The second and the fourth question is finding and copying one word that means something. And the fifth question is true or false, tick the correct statement. A common misconception with this is sometimes the children will tick both boxes, and of course an answer can't be both true and false, it can only be true or false. Remember, true means correct and false means incorrect. I hope you found this video helpful, especially parents, so you can see how we normally do it in a normal run at George Spicer. Year 1, give it your best go and let us know how you get on. Remember, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask us. I hope you all enjoy being entomologists this week, and happy reading!